Okay, yep. I have a 20 minute, that means I should finish 3:54. I have a watch, so I'll try to keep the time. I'm not sure, I wasn't sure what you're interested in, so I just brought the bits and pieces about the digital revolution and the welfare state, particularly a bit about the Korean story. I'm a scholar researching social policy and welfare state. So welfare state sometimes is an independent variable in my research, sometimes dependent variable in my research. So you will see what I'm studying. Particularly, I'm interested in the social risk and structural change. We talked about the traditional social risks such as the income, particularly male breadwinners, income and health under the industrialization. Then we talked about new social risk under deindustrialization and globalization. Then at that time, the keywords were, I thought, the care, still are, the care and skills. Then now about the pandemic and afterwards the digitalization and climate change, I think they brought new social risks, new social risk. I don't know what that is, but probably we could say the uncertainty all around, in all aspects in our life, and the loneliness. So many people talk about the transformation of the welfare state. So today I will talk more about the digital evolution. You know this person, guy. He is Sam Altman, the OpenAI, ChatGPT, and recently they also announced the new artificial intelligence with artificial body. What's the figure one, something like that, the humanoid. And we saw he was excellent. So I think who knows, after 5 years, 10 years, they might do all the care work and construction work as well. We don't know. This is the uncertainty created by the development of artificial intelligence and digital revolution. I'm personally interested in the impact of digitalization on economic growth. If you look the British economic growth rate is all the downward turn, not only in Britain, but also in so many countries, the growth rate is decreasing. And also productivity growth rate is also decreasing as well. And so many scholars, they discussing whether this digitalization will reverse this trend. So going upward, or digitalization is nothing. Digitalization cannot really produce further productivity growth, and it will just simply go down, as the Robert Gordon said in the whole this debate. But I think this digitalization and growth is an important context we talking about when we talk about the impact of digitalization on economic, on the labor market, our job and social welfare and so on. But I don't have time to discuss all this previous topic, so I'll just go straight into the three topics I want to share with you today. The first one is impact on jobs. I think there are so many experts on this topic in this room. And then impact on administration and the welfare state, digital welfare state so-called, particularly in the Nordic country, they talk a lot about the digital welfare state. And then finally, as an independent variable, the role of welfare state for the inclusive and sustainable digital revolution, what welfare state can do for that. So digital revolution and jobs. There are the number of kind of hypotheses we know how digital evolution influence the jobs. Firstly, there are skill bias, technological change. That means skilled jobs will survive, unskilled jobs disappear in future. But as we know, there are so many unskilled jobs. So they are on the one hand right, but on the other hand, there are so many kind of counter argument against skill bias, technological change. But then how can we explain this, the impact of digital evolution on jobs? Then the second one is a routine biased technological change. So if your task is routine, not very creative, you doing the same job again and again every day, then that easily replaced by the artificial intelligence on the technology. So whether routine or not has been one of the kind of a key topic, particularly the middle paying jobs. They tend to be not very creative. They do the routine job, particularly like in bank and so on. So they are easily replaced by the artificial intelligence. But then also we have another set of the argument about whether artificial intelligence will replace our job or task. So our job will be gone. Should we panic? But then the evidence is the employment rate is highest in many countries, like in the UK, in Korea. The employment rate is highest ever still. So probably they do not, probably yet, or haven't replaced our job that much. But then probably they replace our task. If my task as a professor, I have 10 jobs, 10 tasks. But then 3 or 4, probably after 5 years, they replace my job with 6 tasks. But then what I'm doing is actually, smaller number of tasks, 4 or 3. But then if this is a fully liberalized labor market, then my salary would decrease. So then there are kind of dualization issue strongly associated with this replacing task issue. And then, the traditional kind of industrial worker, nowadays they move to the independent worker. As in the United States, 36% of the labor force is independent workers, freelancer, platform workers, kind of a pseudo self-employed and so on. Then the US has a very high independent contractors and freelancers, platform workers, but not in other countries. For example, probably in the Italy or in Korea, not very high. We have a traditional self-employed worker, but not a lot of platform workers so far. Then how can we explain this change? Then this is probably the future research topic. Possibly the regulation, power bias, technological change is important. Whether if you have a regulation, you are organized, and if you can resist against a digital revolution, then you can protect your jobs. Whereas if you don't have a power, or your kind of a job group is not organized, then probably more kind of vulnerable to technological change. So probably we could develop a third hypothesis in addition to skilled or routine, probably the regulation or power biased technological changes probably in future, but it's a future task. So this is what we know. The industrialization period. Industrialization period, we have a very more middle paying jobs, and lowering the low paying jobs and lowering the high paying job. But in post industrial time, opposite. The middle paying job is decreasing, number of middle paying jobs is decreasing, and lower paying job and high paying job is increasing. But it seems to me in digitalization, the more low-paying job and unskilled jobs is increasing, and the middle-paying job also decreasing. But then a few high-paying job probably is increasing. That's the summary of all this slide. So this is the deindustrialization, last 20 years. As you can see, the middle-paying job is all decreasing in basically all OECD countries, including Korea. And this is the impact of artificial intelligence and ChatGPT. This is all evidence from the United States, without regulation country. Then you can see 1 in 4 companies have already replaced workers with ChatGPT. And you can see the change a monthly freelancer job is decreasing right after ChatGPT launched, and their earning also decreasing. So without regulation and power, this is what the people experience immediately after introduction of artificial intelligence. And last year March, Goldman Sachs and also OpenAI, they published 2 very similar reports about impact of artificial intelligence on jobs. And they said that 2/3 of current jobs are exposed to some degree of AI automation. And what they said is mostly what we say now is a good jobs are more likely to be vulnerable to the digital revolution, whereas these jobs are less vulnerable to, less replaceable by artificial intelligence. But if you look at all these jobs here, less likely to be replaced is a kind of construction and cleaning. All these not very good jobs are there. And the most of good jobs are likely to be replaced without protection. Then what would this happen? This is what we call the Moravec's paradox. What AI can do well, we can do well, but what we can do well, the AI cannot do well. This is the Moravec paradox. But we saw humanoid now, and then Tesla and OpenAI, all these the companies, they're trying to build a humanoid. When artificial intelligence meet affordable artificial body, then probably these jobs could be also replaced by the artificial intelligence or artificial body. So there is a great uncertainty about the impact of digital revolution on jobs here. So in future, this is short film is that a man and a dog. In future, in factory, there will be only 2 employees, a man and a dog. A man will be there to feed the dog. Dog will be there to keep the man from touching the equipment. And then rest of them, there's a humanoid and the worker. This is the future, probably not too far away. This can be a big threat to all of us. This is the empirical work I did with the Dr. Lee there. Our research question was, how does automation impact employment and working hour across different subgroups in South Korea, but only in manufacturing sector, using the Korean workplace panel survey. So we did some panel regression analysis, fixed effect model, and so on. But this is not from that data. This is the data from IFR, International Federation of Robotics. Korea is a well-known or notorious or famous for introducing the robotics a lot in our manufacturing sector. Like this, the per 10,000 employees, 932 robotics in our manufacturing sector. So the robotization happened quite fast in Korean manufacturing sector at the moment. According to our the result, as you can see, the automation, more automation, the decrease irregular workers in big enterprise, large enterprises. However, they increase dispatched workers. And also, if you look at the small, medium-sized enterprises, more automation, that means more irregular workers, and in some, dispatched workers. So this is the kind of a very rough picture when we look at how this automation impact the jobs in manufacturing sector. We can easily see the increasing number of dispatched workers. I met one of the employer 2 days ago running this manufacturing sector, and he said we don't basically hire regular worker anymore, because we can actually, if people do not blame us or government doesn't blame us, I can automate my factory from tomorrow without people. That's what one of the employer in Busan said to me. So this is what is kind of happening and they are preparing for. So I think this probably automation threat is somehow a real than illusion. And also, interestingly, the effect of automation on working hours is actually increasing rather than decreasing. So they do not hire a lot of workers, but the existing worker, they tend to increase the working hours. It's a very rough initial picture, but that's what we found so far. So divided, polarized, this is the big question to us. So how to restructure social security is a big question for the Korean welfare state. As I mentioned here, we have a lot of the problems, social risk and the problem in Korea. So on the one hand, some people, particularly the progressive side and politicians, they talk about the basic income, universal basic income, universal basic services, and other kind of policies. But then what is really happening in the real welfare state in Korea is a digital welfare state. That means we can bring all the information from different agencies, and we can specifically target who is vulnerable. So the government is increasingly confident about the very targeted benefit in every social security area. So what I see is actually increasing number of the targeted and residual welfare programs in Korea based on the technological development, artificial intelligence, and so on. So that's what I explained here. There's all different institutions sending the information to the Social Security Information System. Then they select the at-risk household. So somebody haven't paid electronic bills last 2-3 months, and no water bills, haven't paid the water bills, then automatically that information sent to the Social Security Information System, and then they actually, the street level bureaucrat, they checked whether that person is okay or not. So if we can build this kind of digital welfare state, why should we introduce universal welfare state? Why should we introduce a universal welfare allowance or basic income? So on the other hand, some people also argue against this universalism because we have this digital technology. But there are a lot of the criticism on this digitalization of the welfare state, growing confidence on targeting of public benefit, but the social right is disappearing, and also sometimes still there's those who are paying, those who are receiving, and the kind of supervising, monitoring the vulnerable, and all these kind of problems arising as well at the same time. So I think this is one of quite an interesting debate we could carry forward in next 5-10 years in the Korean welfare state. So the increasing insecurity and residual welfare state on the digital revolution. I think this part is something similar to how worry about automation. The first and second presentation, you talked about, you asked the people in the Denmark, Italy, and the UK. I did a quite similar survey about 2 years ago and also 5 years ago. And then my question was whether digital revolution would help your life or your job or not, or you're scared about this digital revolution and something like that. But my hypothesis is if you are experiencing job insecurity or income insecurity, then you are more likely to resist the digital revolution, digital technology, whereas you don't have to worry about your jobs, you don't worry about your income, then those people are more likely to accept digital revolution. Actually, about 40 or 50% of Korean population, they said, I'm worrying about this digital revolution. So it's a quite high percentage, but it's a 4-point scale, not 5-point scale. And I don't have a don't know option. So it's a very kind of authoritative kind of a question. And there's no moderate. So strongly agree, disagree, and strongly disagree, the 4-point scale. Then our hypothesis is if you're experiencing job insecurity last 1 year or income insecurity, and you're more likely to be negative about the digital revolution, what basically this simple regression said is true. So if your job or your income are insecure, then you're more likely to resist to the digital revolution. So we talked about the Uber in Korea. We don't have Uber. Uber is illegal in Korea because the taxi drivers successfully mobilized and the fight against the startups, very famous startup, and against the politician. Then finally they earn what they wanted. So Uber banned, and we only have a taxi, but taxis are still cheap, so you can use. But this is the last slide. So, for the better, inclusive revolution, digital revolution, I think we need more startups with the opportunity style startup, not the kind of a necessity startup. But most of startups, they start their business because there's no other way I can earn the money. Then you can really make a good digital revolution, inclusive revolution. So I think the better welfare state, my hypothesis is a better welfare state, stabilize people, and they are willing to accept the digital revolution, and because they are more likely to do the risk-taking behavior in the market, and more startups, something like that. Also, according to the European Innovation Scoreboard, always there's the Nordic country and Netherlands, they're kind of a top of the league. I think that's why, like this. I have to finish, the 1 minute pass. So, so this is the kind of, it's all hypothesis at the moment. So I'm not the member of this research team, but I want to go together with, I want to look at what you do, and also I want to develop my own research accordingly, and let's share more in future. Thank you so much.